r/IDontWorkHereLady, episode 29. Student tour guides do not make admissions decisions. In college I was a tour guide for prospective students, walking backwards and telling scripted puns. Technically I was employed by the admissions office to do this, but in no capacity was I involved in admission decisions whatsoever. No one asked me which kids asked a smart question, or who texted through the whole tour or anything. My entire job description was show up, walk the families around campus, answer questions about student life. For context, I'd give 3 to 6 tours a week to groups of 40 plus people. So I was home for break one Christmas, and in a large chain store I see a woman glaring at me. I didn't think much of it at the time, because I didn't know her, but as I progressed down the aisles I realized she was following me. She had a daughter about my age and they were whispering. All I was able to catch was no, that's definitely her. The woman approaches me and says, "Are you my name, who toured us around my college?" And I say yes. Woman, I bet you think you're pretty hot stuff, huh? Me, oh, what? Woman, my daughter had a rock solid application and her alumni interviewer said her chances were very good. 2 days after our visit she's rejected. You're the only one affiliated with the university we spoke to that whole time. Daughter, yeah. Woman, quiet, I'm handling this. Me, I'm sorry to hear she wasn't accepted, but I have nothing to do with admission decisions, I just give tours. Woman, I'm not an idiot. I know they tell you to say that. Me, no, seriously, I'm a sophomore there myself. You can call and ask. I do not get any input into admissions. Woman, but you work for the admissions department? Me, okay, technically they hired me, but, there are janitors who work for the admission department and they don't get to decide who gets in. It's a specialized job. Woman, quit your bull. Daughter, I had near perfect ACT scores. I bet I had better scores than you. At this point I think my mom thought I was just catching up with people I knew, since there was a girl my age, but she started to realize something was wrong at this point. Daughter, just tell why you didn't let me in. You can tell me. It's the past now. Just tell me. Woman, was it a community service issue? Come on, be honest. You can tell us. Me, I really don't know. I have nothing to do with it. I swear. You can actually call and ask, and they will tell you tour guides don't get to decide that stuff. Woman, you bet we will be calling and filing a complaint, and my mom, excuse me, what's happening here? Who are you? Woman, who are you? My mom, everything okay? I was getting upset by this point, because a lot was going on, and if you insist loudly enough to me that I've done something wrong, eventually I'll start to believe you. Daughter, is it because I'm white? I'm a POC, my mom, hahaha, what? What are you guys talking about? Me, let's just go. Let's check out. Woman, not admitting my daughter was the biggest mistake of your career. I'm a millionaire and I would have made big donations to the school. When your boss hears from me, you're going to be fired. I wasn't even upset at that point, because it was so absurd. No way a millionaire would be shopping at the store we were in. My mom leads me away and looks at me, still very confused what's going on. We bought our items, and I was pretty rattled as I went to the car, but as I was explaining, the absurdity of the whole situation fully hit me, and I just started laughing. I stumbled on this sub, and not sure if it's a good fit, but this is one of my favorite stories to tell, so wanted to memorialize in a post. Karen wants my trolley. I have quite a few IDWHL stories, most are from many years ago, and the details are fuzzy. Some are more recent, but don't feature a Karen. This one, however, happened on Saturday afternoon, and had a proper Karen in the wild. As usual, a bit of pretext, while I have a collection of vastly differing skills, my main occupation has me on construction sites. Sites are inherently dangerous places, and every few years one finds oneself in a crumpled heap a few meters below where they were moments previously. Such an occasion occurred to me on Thursday, due to an old ladder rung going for early retirement, while I was resting my entire weight on it. Suffice to say, I gave myself a proper spannering, dislocating and hyperextending my shoulder, giving my opposite knee a good twist and a decent bruising, to match my ego. Friday and the first half of Saturday was spent in a drug-induced haze, with heat packs, hot baths and enough cursing to make a sailor blush. Late Saturday my shoulder was still entirely useless, but I was starting to get mobility back into my knee, enough that I felt able to head to the local sheep valute store. This particular store has a very limited amount of parking at ground level, but a decent amount at rooftop, with 2 lifts down into the front of the store. Trolleys are often in short supply in the store, so I grabbed one up at rooftop where they are in plenty, both to make sure I had one, and to act as a bit of support to my ailing knee and shoulder. Get into the lift, hold the door, hotter, for a lady hurrying to make it, down we go. As the doors open I'll let the lady go first due to my busted ass hobbling, and I've barely cleared the lift when a wild Karen grabs the front of my trolley and exclaims about time, you people should do a better job restocking trolleys. Her condescending expression gathering a hint of confusion about the eyes, much like storm clouds gathering, when I don't immediately let go of the trolley. Now I'm not a small guy, I'm 105 kilograms and 6 feet 2, heavily bearded, I'm wearing jeans, sneakers and a pale blue t-shirt with a small girl kneeling in prayer and amp text that says may they all burn in hell. Fairly distinctly removed from the staff uniform of green vest, light grey shirt and dark grey trousers. I'm pretty easygoing, but being in pain and low on sleep means I've been getting out of the wrong side of bed 2 nights in a row, and I have no patience for Karen's shit. There are plenty up in the car park, feel free to go fetch one. Karen's eyes nearly bug out of her head, and she jerks on the trolley, while inhaling sharply to feed me some line about her privilege no doubt, but she doesn't get the chance, because her jerk on the trolley had sent a jolt of pain straight up my arm, and my knee was halfway giving out. This presented via a loud grunted fuck from me, followed by an angry, and not particularly quiet fuck's sake lady, take a look at me, and tell me what part of what you see leads you to believe I work here. She didn't immediately let go, but just stood there, mouth agape and slack, eyes trying to find something to make sense of what I just said. I still had one good arm, and one good leg, turns out that was more than enough to push free of Karen's teeth grip and hobble off. Felt like throwing more abuse at her as I passed regarding her you people comment, but couldn't think of anything witty at the time. Saw her pointing me out to a staff member. When I was checking out, I pointed to a staff member nearby and mouthed staff, while nodding my head. Pointed to myself, and mouthed nod staff, while shaking my head. Put my bags in my trolley, and hobbled back to the lifts. May she burn in hell. I don't work for this airport. I'll go ahead and apologize for being on mobile. So this happened recently, while I was at JFK. Me and a few of my childhood friends have been planning on going on a 2-week trip to Europe for years. We hadn't actually gone, because until recently most of them were in college, and I was working full time. I'm actually a pilot, which was part of the problem. So this was our first big opportunity. I'll go ahead and set up the cast. Me, security officer, Karen, and I'll call her Mary, Karen's really embarrassed daughter. So at first it was a fairly normal trip to the airport. For me, airports aren't stressful as I generally have the run of the place, mostly due to my known crew badge with my picture and the airline I work for that let me pass TSA with some ease and go to the pilot areas. So while my friends are waiting in line, I walk over to the side and show my badge to that TSA guy with the wand, and he begins scanning me. I actually get through without much issue and turn to wait for my friends. That's when I see Karen staring directly at me. We make eye contact, and she waves me over. Now she is in that TSA line, not far enough along to take her shoes off. Now I can't walk up behind TSA, and I didn't want to go back through TSA. So I shake my head, not wanting to call out to her. I can see her face getting red. Now I'll say, I don't look close to an employee. I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt, Quite literally a Lipton shirt, and aside from my badge in my travel bag I look nothing like a pilot, and I'm only a RFO. Seeing my non-compliance she immediately starts to shout, "Karen, what do you mean no? You can't say no to me." At this point that sad officer who had wanted me walks over to her asking her to calm down. She just kept shouting, "Karen, don't you tell me to do anything. My son is a platinum flyer, and he got me my tickets. You need to do what I say." While I stand there confused, that sad officer asks her to step out of line, and she pulls poor Mary along with her. Karen looked as if she had won a great victory, and begins striking past that sad officer towards me. The officer stops her, and she turns on him. "Karen, oh so you're playing favorites now? You'll let some employee walk through like he owns the place and step on customers, but not a platinum flyer." The officer already fed up, and I can't blame him. But he waves me over with a sad expression. As he explains, "So, look, he's a crewman. He flies for one of the airlines. That's why he gets to go past." I held up my badge for he to see it. Karen, looking at me with her platinum hair fury, "So you do work here and still try to ignore me? I'll make sure you lose your job and your license for this." Me, "What th Karen, I don't want to hear a word from you if it's not the name of your supervisor." Me, "I don't work here, I fly for airline. And I am on vacation." "Karen, you just admitted you work here and yet you still ignored me." Luckily for me, Mary was starting to get fed up with her mother and tried to cut in. Karen ignored her, yelling about her son and how he would get me fired and her privilege as a platinum flyer. At this point I really hadn't gotten in much of a word, but I didn't really need to because Mary finally got a word in on her mother's mindless rant. "Mary, you need to stop. Mom, we're going to get in line quietly and wait our turn. Otherwise I've had enough and I will simply leave you behind." This shut her up, and I took my opportunity to walk away as fast as I could. I'm not a nurse. So at my job, in a long-term care pharmacy, the dress code is business casual or scrubs. I don't wear scrubs often, but I will once a month or so, when I'm feeling lazy. My best friend's wife went into labor and he called me about the news. I told him I'd head up to the hospital after work. I was wearing scrubs that day. I go in and get up to the waiting room. He comes out and gives me an update. He goes back to the room and I go hang out in the waiting room. My scrubs, of course, were the same color the nurses at this hospital wear. I'm sitting in the waiting room and this lady approached me, very angry, yelling, "Why are you just sitting on your ass when my daughter-in-law is about to give birth?" I tell her, kinda laughing because I was like, "WTF, I don't work here, I'm waiting for my friend." She apparently does not believe me because she replies, "Clearly you aren't working since you're sitting here. Is this your break?" I ignore her because I honestly don't give a fuck and I'm not about to entertain this shit. She storms out, yelling about how she will just find someone who cares. Several minutes later I hear her yelling again, coming back towards the room. She has an actual nurse with her, comes in, points at me, and screams, "This is how your nurses act." The actual nurse was very confused. I told her she thinks I work here. The nurse, still kind of confused, is giving me the WTF face. I then get up, show the nurse and this crazy old bat my work badge that is still around my neck. It clearly states *PHARMACY name, billing department. This enrages the woman. I mean, she flies off the fucking handle. You need to stop fucking around. This is serious. She continued making such a scene that hospital security had to escort her off the property. So, she missed the birth of her grandchild all because she wouldn't listen to me and insisted I do my nurse's duty. Grandma has some anger issues. I don't work here, but thank you. I was at a clothing store in a mall sorting through some red skinny jeans. I normally wear size 40, but I lost some weight, so I was looking for pants that fit as my legs were slimming. 36 was the biggest size they had. A gentleman came up to me and asked me if I had worked there. I told him no. He said, "Oh, you're really well dressed, so I figured you did." I thanked him, and he went on his way. That gave me the confidence to go from 40 regular fit khakis to a 36 skinny fit red jeans. The pants fit perfectly, and I had no trouble getting them off and on. On top of that, they were 50% off from $30, which I expected to pay, but I only paid $15 due to it being an online return. Thanks random guy, that made me feel good enough to try on jeans I would not have believed to fit me 3 months ago. Edit, I'm a guy lol. I posted this on r/Starbucks, but once a partner, always a partner. This legit just happened to me, so I'm in Starbucks in a t-shirt and amp, shorts and amp, slippers, and I quit SB in April, and I'm sitting at a table studying and someone legit came up to my table asking if they can have more soy in their coffee. I don't work here simple, short, yet kinda funny. I was at Walmart one day, in the craft section looking at the paint, since I'm really into crafting and art. I was crouched down looking at the paints on the bottom shelf when an elderly woman comes up to me. "W, do you work here?" Me, not paying attention, because I thought she was talking to the worker down the aisle from me. W, gets closer to me. "Excuse me, do you work here?" Me, now realizes, oh, no, sorry W, oh, that's okay, thank you. I point to the worker nearby, and she talks to them. I was wearing my Ninja Turtle shirt, which was not the same color as the Walmart logo. Was it because I was kneeling looking closely at paints? I dunno. Hopefully you like this less chaotic story for a change that still gave me a chuckle. New employee at tire shop mistakes me for fellow worker. So this happened today when I went into town to get one of my car tires fixed. Had to borrow my dad's pickup, and I'm not a tall guy, so it's rough getting in and out even with the small step hanging below the door. Anyway, it's pretty chilly, so I just wore my heavy winter jacket. It's black/white/grey plaid with a hoodie, but I leave it down since I can't detach it. Wearing big green mud boots and beige dress pants. I hate jeans. Wearing jeans stopped 14 years ago. If I stuck out, it was more for crimes against fashion than anything else. When I get to the tire shop, there's only parallel parking along the sidewalk right in front of the place and barely any of that, but I managed to be a bit off to the side out of habit for emergency vehicle accessibility, unlike most people who are front and center, because they're too lazy to walk 10 to 15 feet. There's a bit of hustle and bustle outside, which isn't totally uncommon, but whatever, I mind my own business and prepare myself for a bloody long wait to give them my tire, let alone pick it up. I get out and spend a couple minutes trying to hop into the back, again, I'm short, of the truck to grab the tire. I finally get up, and as I'm just about to turn it around to roll it off, this guy just starts heaving new tires into the back. Whoa, what the hey? What are you doing? I blurt out. You're late. These needed to go to whatever place they were going to be delivered to this morning. Just get it done and be back quick. What kind of drugs you taking, buddy? Annoyed sarcasm isn't my favorite tone, but he's being pretty dismissive. I'm here to get this tire fixed. Now he's annoyed. I don't care. Talk to owner when you get done. Just do your job. I'm laughing in frustration at how ignorant this guy is, clearly a new hire, so I just start flipping the extra tires out onto the ground. I do not work here. Shove off. More concerned with what I'm doing than what I'm saying, he stops a couple from going into the street and runs inside. I get out with my tire, close the tailgate, and as I walk inside, the oblivious employee is bitching about me to the owner at the front desk. He is a friend of my dad's, and recognizes me, since our family just collectively puts all our purchases on his client file. Looking towards me, he asks, totally confused. Him? Yeah, him. I chuckle a little and say, I told him I didn't work here. Sighing and rubbing his face, the owner tells the new guy to just bring the tires in and leave them by the door. Embarrassed but compliant, he storms off to do just that, giving me a dirty look as he walked past me. So, does your delivery guy drive a white truck? Had to borrow my dad's. No, he's got a blue work truck. Realizing he was trying to be blunt and change the topic, I just let it be. TL, doctor, new tire shop employee thinks he's hot shit barking orders at me, thinking I work there too. Not backed up by his boss and mad to see me not get reamed for not doing what he wanted. Edit, and no, I didn't get to jump the line because of it. They were about to close before I got the call to come pick my tire up.